Hello, friend, and welcome back to the episode. Today is going to be a stinger because we are talking about being uncomfortable, which nobody loves to do, all right? So today we're talking about comfort doesn't build a business, desperation does. So why did I choose this topic today? I chose it because a lot of you guys have your dental hygiene paycheck as a safety net, okay? And it is really the villain in this situation. And it is keeping a lot of you guys stuck and comfortable because until you get desperate, you don't want to do the work. You don't, or maybe you don't want to do the consistent work, is what I should say. So, my promise to you with this episode is that you are going to understand why comfort is the real reason that your business isn't moving. Okay, so first we're going to start with what I like to talk about, my desperation story. You might have heard it before, but that's okay because you're going to, if this is you, you're going to resonate with this. So my desperation story, you guys, it's not a secret. I didn't love hygiene. Okay. I loved helping people. It didn't have to be hygiene. And until I gave myself permission to really understand and believe that, I just kept thinking that because I had done all the work to get my hygiene license, that I had to do that forever. But I got desperate, you guys. And so part of that desperation was I was commuting an hour and 15, an hour and a half each way to work. I was working 12-hour shifts. Initially, when I went to work at the dental office, I liked it. Okay. The first year, I've shared this story. The first year, I was the amazing employee. I did everything. I was the rock star. If they gave me, 1 hour for 4 quads of scaling, I was the one making it happen. I was killing myself. I was good at what I did. And I loved the recognition about, oh, Carmen this and Carmen that, and Carmen can do everything. The thing is that, once you work a miracle, they expect that miracle. So, if I did all of those quadrants, then the next time they were like, well, why do you want an hour for 2 quads? You can do 4 in an hour, or, whatever the example was. Or why do you need an hour for a full prophy when you have shown us that you're done with a lot of clients in 35 minutes? So can we, if somebody else does your x-rays for you, or does your medical history review, could we start giving you 30 minutes? And my friend, if you want to know what's going to burn you out fast, that is, okay? Especially if there's no financial reward for you. So first year, I was a rock star. The second year, I was smart, okay? So my boss had brought in a new consultant and a new manager, and both of them had the attitude that hygienists were earning too much money. We were just prima donnas in the office. We weren't a team player, all of those things. So they wanted to change the bonus structure, which they did. So they built a moat, here was the office staff. And then now the hygienists were in a life raft on their own. Not only that, but to compound it and add insult to injury, they also gave the boss a 6% cost of living raise. So I didn't get a cost of living raise of 6%, but the boss did. So now our production numbers had to cover her raise. Okay, you guys, I have a master's in business. I'm not a freaking idiot. Everybody else in the office, oblivious to it. And me, I'm a numbers girl, okay? So I went from being the rock star of the office to being, in my second year, being called the cancer of the office. I mean, at my second year review, she had nothing good to say to me, told me I was the cancer of the office, that I was causing the toxic work environment. And perhaps I was. I don't know. But, suddenly I found that I had a spine, okay? Prior to having a spine, I think I had a chocolate eclair in my back, and now I had a rod. So they didn't like the fact that I was pushing back. The other thing about all of this process, so I hated that, but I was really dreading work. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are in this situation. You have that Sunday night dread. I just did an interview with somebody the other day, and she said, I literally work my guts out for 4 days a week. And then on Friday and Saturday, I breathe. And on Sunday, I don't even enjoy Sunday because I'm already dreading what's going to happen on Monday. That is no way to live. But it was happening to me. So when I was driving to work on that Monday morning and Tuesday, well, actually, I wasn't working Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was having heart palpitations on the way to work. I thought it was going to kill me. And I think long term it was. But you know what was going to kill me? The fact that I was a dental hygienist and I had started smoking. First, as just a stress reliever on the way home from work. Okay, like I would get so far out of town that nobody would ever see me, and then I would puff away on the way home. Nobody would ever know. Then, because I was so miserable and I hated it so much, I was smoking on the way to work. Well, no, let me back up. I was smoking when I left work, like I'm telling you, lighting up that old cancer stick before I even got out of the parking lot. Like I did not care. I was so miserable. And then by the time I would get home, like I'd chain smoke all the way home, and I'd get home and I'd have a headache and I'd smell like an ashtray and blah, it was terrible. And then pretty soon, I was not only just a closet smoker on the way home where nobody would ever know, but now I was that person. I was smoking on the way to work. You know, first it started, okay, I'll just have one cigarette on that hour and 15-minute drive, and I'm going to have all the windows open, and I'm going to use all the nasty body spray. Come on, we're hygienists. We know what that smells like. I was completely oblivious. I didn't care. Okay. And then pretty soon that one cigarette was 2. And then I don't know, maybe it got up to 3. The point is that I was becoming somebody I did not love. I didn't even like her. I didn't even know her. And that was desperation. Okay. So that's my story. So we're going to just talk about a few things. Let me look at my notes here. Yep. Okay. Number 1, comfort has consequences. So every month that you stay comfortable in your business, it stays in park. So many of you guys, you hear me say this all the time, like you have to get your car out of park for me to be able to help you. Okay. This is it. If you have a business that's stagnant and it's doing nothing, are you comfortable? Got to ask yourself that. And the reason that I see so many of you guys struggling is because you're comfortable and you have that paycheck. So you don't have to do that scary thing, safety net. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Desperation is not the same as a crisis. So I was desperate to stop becoming somebody who I didn't recognize. Do not wait until you are in financial ruin before you start something. If you start it now, you get to control the gas and the brake. Because the truth of the matter is, most of you guys are not Carmen. Some of you are. Some of you are already not practicing hygiene. Some of you are already injured. Okay. But where a lot of you guys are is unhappy and you're thinking, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So start now so that you can get your clinical training. You can start building your business. And then it's kind of just like a runway, not a cliff. Okay. I set a 5-year goal to leave hygiene, and thank the Lord, I was blessed enough to be able to do it in 13 months. Because you guys, I was gonna have a smoker's cough and be so miserable. Okay, so do not let it become a crisis. If you are identifying with this, I am speaking to your heart for a reason. All right, the third thing I want to talk to you about is that safety net being the villain. Okay, The safety net, your hygiene paycheck, gives you enough to just tolerate the failure, to tolerate how uncomfortable you are. And many of you guys, especially if you're listening to this and you're already trained, I challenge you, pull that net out from underneath you, and you are going to figure out how fast you need to get your butt in gear to get this business off the ground. Okay? When I have students who are looking at closing their business, and I have them jump out of the nest, they're learning to fly on the way down. So a lot of you guys who complain that you've taken your myofunctional therapy training, you've spent all this time and money, but have you really? Sure, maybe you've spent the money, but have you put the effort in to actually do the work? Many of you guys, and maybe you that I'm talking to, you're complaining about the outcome, you're complaining about the results that you have, and you're not putting in the effort. So time to get real with that. But that safety net, your dental hygiene check, is keeping you small. It's keeping you scared. It's keeping you making excuses. In my case, it was keeping me smoking and doing all the things. Like, I don't even recognize that woman now. Okay. So my friend, is this you? Because if you're still listening, I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be. So what do I want you to do with this? If this is you, I can help you. I'm going to push you out of that nest. Okay? We're going to take that safety net away. It's not like you're going to quit hygiene tomorrow, but you're going to, if you're Lola, if you are already trained and you're not doing the things, you're going to start doing the things. You're going to know exactly what things to be doing, and you're going to build your wings on the way out of the nest. Okay. So many of you guys, and you guys, this is by nature because we are dental hygienists. But the longer you wait for things to be perfect, the longer you wait for that life first business, the longer you wait for a life that you are bonkers about. So if this is you and you're already trained, book your Unstuck call so we can talk about what the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist program looks like, what I'm going to do with you, how it's going to benefit you, and then make sure that you join the boot camp. Because if you're listening to this in real life, boot camp is coming right up. Okay, the boot camp is going to give you tactical things to leave with from your business. Okay, you're going to learn how to set up your AI. I'm going to show you some really cool things. So you're going to want to be in the Profitable Myofunctional Therapy program. Trust me on that. You're going to leave having a clear idea who your Lola is. We're going to talk about pricing, all of that stuff that's going to help you get your car out of park. Okay. So you can get moving. And then if you're not trained and you're my Sarah, see, you guys, I use these terms, Lola and Sarah, so you know and understand I walk the walk. I walk the walk that I talk to you guys, okay? I have a very distinct ideal customer. Okay, one's trained, one's stuck. Sometimes they're both. But if you're Sarah and you're not trained, you have to get into LMT 60, learn myofunctional therapy in 60 days or less. You got to get in there because having your clinical knowledge is the prerequisite to get into PMT. Okay. So that is it, my friend. If this was on your heart and you are Lola and you are stuck and you're also using your hygiene check as your safety net, storm the island and burn the boats, my friend. That is exactly the mindset that you have to have. Like, if you have plan B, you are not serious about plan A. And while I said you do not have to just, quit hygiene tomorrow, maybe you need to. Maybe you need to quit that job, find a part-time job. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios. And of course, we go over that at your Unstuck call. So that is a wrap, my friend. I'm going to land this plane. I will be back soon and we will be talking more. My gosh, I'm talking like I'm having a stroke here. We will be talking more about starting growing, simplifying, and AIing your myofunctional therapy business. Go work on it, and I will be back soon, my friend. I will see you then.